Hollywood does not want you to know about Neal McDonough and Sylvester Stallone right now because they're scared of Sylvester Stallone and Neal McDonough. So Neal McDonough got blacklisted by Hollywood for refusing to kiss other women on the screen because he loves his wife, and later got big support from Sylvester Stallone. That single decision cost Neal McDonough his career and most of the life Neal McDonough had built around it. So this is also similar to, how Sylvester Stallone was treated when he exposed what was really happening in Hollywood and stuff. And the video that Neal McDonough recently set down is one of the most emotionally powerful interviews to come from a celebrity in a long time, other than Sylvester Stallone. So Hollywood would prefer that you never watch it, basically, especially the moment where it's Neal McDonough changes the entire ending, and the story Neal McDonough exposes more about the industry itself, and then what the studios are comfortable with revealing. Okay, so behind the marketing and the award shows, Hollywood operates like a cult, as you all know, that punishes anyone who actually goes ahead and try to have executives who decided to make an example of him. All right. So, yeah, here is the interview in question. So let's check it out.
What time's the bar open? That was generally my thought. What time's the bar open? That was generally my thought process back then. It was, fired from a show because I wouldn't kiss a woman. No one would hire me because they thought I was this religious nutbag, which is that I love my wife so much. And no one can understand it. No one can understand it. And I was always a drinker because I'm Irish. I'm from Boston. It's just what we do. But it wasn't ever a problem. It became a problem. It became a bad problem. This was a solid 3, almost 4 years of, even when I started to come out of it, Graham Yost after 2 years heard that I was going through problems, and he hired me for Justified. And then I lost the house, lost the cars, lost everything. And Luke saw me one night at a premiere for this, and he saw I was a mess. He said, "What's going on with you? Here, things aren't going so great." I'm like, "Yeah." And I opened up to him. He goes, "Why don't you stay in my house? I don't live in there anymore. It's right there, right near your house in Hancock Park. Stay there for as long as you want." I was like, "You mean it?" He goes, "Yeah, here's the keys." What time?
Yeah, so basically, he's talking about Luke Perry, the same Luke Perry who passed away before and stuff. He offered him to go ahead and live in his house. But yeah, like I said, Hollywood is just a cult that punishes anyone who refuses to play along. Neal would not bend the knee to their demand, so the executives there and stuff, they decided to make an example of him. So what he described in the interview pulls back the curtain of an industry that pretends to be tolerant while quietly crushing, dissent. So the story itself gets stranger the further you go into it. And by the end, that's when Sylvester Stallone stepped in and actually does something that left the entire industry seething. So yeah, the studios are still angry at Neal for, being honest in that interview that also went viral. And they're also angry at Stallone for the way that he intervened during the worst stretch of Neal's career. So those executives do not enjoy being exposed in public, and this footage actually puts a lot of them under that particular microscope. Okay, so yeah, basically, it shows that the actual price of a working actor pays for holding any kind of personal standard. The interview also reveals what happens when one powerful person inside the system decides to push back. So Neal described the years of the blacklist, saying that his main thought each morning was just figuring out when the bar opened. He admits that he was fired from a show specifically because he would not kiss a woman who was not his wife. So after that, the rest of the industry stopped calling him because they had decided that he was some religious nut, all because he didn't want to be kissed another woman that's not his wife. Okay, it's not like he was trying to, get out of trying to kiss another man or anything. No, it's just him not kissing wife because they want him in romantic roles, but he has a standard and they didn't like it. He kept repeating in the interview that nobody could understand how deeply he loved his wife. That confusion among industry insiders says a lot more about them than it does about him. So for anyone who missed the original reason he was cast out, the trigger itself was really that simple. He refused to do romantic scenes with women other than his wife because of his marriage and his faith. So the executives interpreted that boundary as some kind of rebellion against their authority. So they treated loyalty to a spouse like a problem worth ending a career over. Most viewers hearing this particular story from him first time cannot believe an entire profession turns on something that minor. So yeah, his refusal became the breaking point that ended his stretch as working in Hollywood lead. The industry itself just torched his career and pushed him out as if, he had committed some sort of serious crime or whatever. But the man was never accused of anything illegal or any kind of scandal in the slightest. So he just simply said no to kissing scene with a coworker. The studios actually decided that, that was enough reason to erase him from their casting list for years. And Neal was also open about drinking that he started taking over after being blacklisted. So he stated that he was always drinking because he was Irish, who's from Boston and stuff. So yeah, that right there is to say a lot because it took a toll on him. But during the blacklist years, it crossed that line and turned into a serious problem. Now, the way he talks about that period is more honest than what most celebrities are willing to admit about themselves. He also stated that, it took close to 4 years before Neal McDonough really started climbing out of the worst of it. And Graham Yost heard about Neal McDonough's struggle around, Hollywood and everything around the 2-year mark and gave Neal McDonough a part in Justified. Sylvester Stallone will come along later with an even bigger lifeline, but Justified was the first crack of daylight. And by the time that role came along, Neal McDonough already watched most of his property and savings disappear. So all Neal McDonough had left was his wife and his faith, and he was not willing to give up either one. So yeah, basically what happened to him is just one of the clearest examples that there's a Christian persecution inside the Hollywood machine itself. So the industry markets itself as, open-minded and stuff. And but that movement, the moment someone holds a real boundary rooted in their faith, the response gets vicious. So he went up against Goliath of the entire studio system without bending. So the cost was enormous, and he absorbed it without flinching. And most actors in his shoes would have caved during the first week of unemployment. So here's more about how he expounded on it back in what he talked about in the past too.
I was blackballed for 2 years. I couldn't get a job. And because of that, I lost my big, beautiful house in Los Angeles, my shiny Mercedes, all my stuff, and my swagger. And as you can imagine at the time, I was really crushed. They thought that I was some religious zealot, but to me, it was just that I didn't think it was the right thing to do. And also, I really love my wife. And as I've said, and I'll say it a million times, these lips are meant for one woman. I won't kiss another woman because, as a villain, I may kill 10 guys in a scene. And when we're filming the scene, it's actually kind of funny because it's so absurd. But at the end of the scene, we're like, hey, have a great night, see you later, let's go have a great time. I didn't actually kill anybody. But if I'm in bed with another woman and I kiss another woman, guess what I'm actually doing? I'm kissing another woman. I don't want my kids to see that. I don't want my family to see that. I really don't want God to see that. Family first, me second.
That's what he stood for, and if you think back to that Neal McDonough interview that was spread across the internet at a rapid pace not too long ago, you'll also see that's the same way, Sylvester Stallone's exposure of Hollywood shocked everyone, and Neal McDonough and Sylvester Stallone opened the eyes of a lot of viewers who had never thought much about, the industry itself. Okay, how they actually treat its own people, including Neal McDonough. So the comment section made it clear that a huge portion of the audience already feels exactly what Neal McDonough was describing. People also rallied around Sylvester Stallone in the same breath for stepping up the way Sylvester Stallone did. And the studios noticed the response, and they did not like what they were seeing. Okay, so Neal walked through exactly what the producers said to him before the firing happened, where they told him he either had to do the scene or they were going to fire him on the spot. He answered them by saying that he was not going to do it under any circumstances. So they followed through and let him go that same day. And from there, the blackball lasted for 2 full years, as he said in that speech, before anyone in the industry was willing to take a chance on him again. So yeah, across those 2 unemployed years, he lost that house, as he stated, and the cars and stuff, the swag and all that. And it was all a small word for, what really happens to a man when his profession turns its back on him. He did admit in that interview, that he was crushed at the time, and the honesty in that admission is rare. The studios had called him, a religious zealot, basically, for trying to go ahead and honor his marriage, his wife, and his point was simple, and he did it directly. Those lips were only ever meant for one woman. Okay, so this is the point where the story where Stallone enters the picture and flips the ending. So Stallone gave Neal a role on Tulsa King, as you all know, right in the middle of the blacklist that the industry had thrown at him, and that single piece of casting from Sylvester Stallone started undoing years of professional damage almost overnight. It also put Sylvester Stallone in the same crosshairs as the executives who had tried to bury Neal. And from everything that we've seen, that did not seem to slow Stallone down for a second. So Sylvester Stallone actually, done this kind of thing before. The other actor stuck in the same corner as Neal McDonough. Sylvester Stallone gave Mel Gibson a role in Expendables 3 back when Gibson was, being publicly frozen out of the industry like Neal McDonough was, all because he made the Passion of the Christ film. So the online reaction to Sylvester Stallone at the time was loud, with critics throwing fits over the casting decision. And Sylvester Stallone went ahead and made the movie regardless of what they thought. And Neal McDonough is just the latest example of a pattern where Sylvester Stallone steps in when the studios try to disappear someone Sylvester Stallone happens to respect. So here's also another interview from where he was with his wife and everything, explained even further.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Tyrone Tan here from Starros Entertainment.tv, and we're here with
Neal and McDonough.
Woo! Great to see you again.
Nice to see you too.
So for those that don't know, tell the audience what brings you out to this wonderful Golden Trailer Awards.
What brings us here?
Yeah.
Well, our friend Nicolette Parrish, who puts us together, is amazing. Neal's presenting tonight again. We are fortunate to have a film nominated tonight, The Last Rodeo. So we're here and to enjoy these amazing trailers that we haven't seen, because we generally don't watch them in theaters because they ruin the film because they're so good.
That's right.
Now, is there a favorite trailer growing up or that you've been involved with, or just in general that you've always liked that stuck to your mind all these years?
Band of Brothers was my favorite trailer I've ever seen. I can't imagine anything being as amazing as that, and to have Steven Spielberg and Tom Hanks and the story that we got to tell. That trailer just shook the world. It was amazing. So
the music.
And I still remember Minority Report trailer. That got me going.
That was a good one too. That was very good.
It was it's inspiring that you guys are here. This show is ultimately about inspiring others. We always want to inspire those. What inspirational messages can you give us someone out there that maybe wants to do what you guys do or follow their dreams in general?
Don't give up. Don't quit. Don't give in.
I like to say, and don't steal my quote, but when someone tells you no, it's a slow yes. Keep pushing.
I like that. So, yeah, basically, Neal McDonough and Sylvester Stallone, left viewers with a message worth holding on to by the end of the interview, where Neal McDonough told people not to give up when the industry or anyone else tries to push them aside. So Neal McDonough's wife also shared that personal line with his, where he treats every no as a slow yes. She did say, don't steal this one. But the studios tried to destroy the life of Neal McDonough over his beliefs, and the entire plan ended up working against them. So today, Neal McDonough is back in the industry, and they're scared of Neal McDonough and Sylvester Stallone, and the executives who try to erase Neal McDonough are watching that play out. So let me know your thoughts about this whole Neal McDonough and Sylvester Stallone situation, and I'll see you on the next one.